Today's recording, we will be going through the Henry Park Primary School 2019 SA2 math paper for Primary 3. Now let's move on to the first question. The value of the digit 7 in 8974 is blank. So to approach this question, we have to figure out which position number 7 is in this number. So we have the ones, the tenths, the hundreds, and the thousands. So as I said earlier, number 7 is in the tenths position. So to get the value of the digit 7, we simply get 7 times 10, which is equals to 70. So the answer for this question is option number 2, which is 70. Okay, question 2. In the figure below, which angle is an acute angle? So an acute angle is an angle that's less than 90 degrees. So let's do a recap first. As I said, this is an acute angle because it is less than 90 degrees. And this is a right angle, which is equals to 90 degrees. Let me put this less than 90 degrees. And what about angles that are more than 90 degrees? What are they called? Well, those angles are called obtuse angles. So here, so this is an obtuse angle. And these are angles which are more than 90 degrees. Okay, so after we have done that recap, let's figure out the answer for this question. So let me draw a right angle first. Okay, so we can see that angle A is slightly more than our right angle triangle, which is equals to 90 degrees. So this means that angle A is not the answer to this question because it is an obtuse angle, since the angle that we see here is more than 90 degrees. Now what about angle B? If I draw another right angle triangle over here, we can see that it's actually quite similar to angle B. So it is most likely that angle B is actually a right angle triangle. But does that answer the question? No. Since B is a right angle triangle, this means that its angle is equal to 90 degrees. So it can't be an acute angle, which is less than 90 degrees. What about angle C? Let's see. Let me draw another right angle over here. If you can see, angle C also exceeds the right angle triangle over here. So it's slightly more than 90 degrees. So this means that it's also an obtuse angle, like angle A. So this option is wrong. And now we're left with the last angle here, angle D. Let's see if it is an obtuse angle. Okay, so here's the right angle. Here's the right angle that I drew, which is 90 degrees. And we can see that angle D is actually lesser than the 90 degrees. So our answer here is angle D, which is an acute angle that is less than 90 degrees. So the answer for this question is option 4. Question 3. What is the volume of the water in the cylinder shown below? Now, let me just make this a little bit clearer because we can't really see the numbers. Sorry about that. Here. Okay, I think that's slightly clearer. Okay, so the question asks, what is the volume of water in the cylinder shown below? If we look at this area, you can see over here, 200, and 300. So the difference between these two numbers is 300 minus 200 is equals to 100. So this gaps present over here have a total of 100 units. So since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gaps, we can get the number at each small line by simply doing 100 divided by the 5 gaps that we counted. So let's do our working here. So 100 divided by 5, 0. Okay, so 10. 5 times 2 is 10. So subtract that, and we bring down 0. So this is also equal to 0. Okay, so the answer is 20. So each small gap that we see over here is equals to 20. Now that we know that, we can easily find the volume of the water here. So this is 100, and this is one gap, so that's plus 20, and another gap, so that's another plus 20, and another gap, plus 20. So the volume of the water is 100 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20. Now let's do our working. 100 plus 20 is 120, 20 is 140, and plus 20 is 4 plus 2 is 6, 160. So the volume of the water is 160 milliliters. So the answer to this question is option 3. Okay, now question 4. Express 2 hours, 19 minutes in minutes. So we have 2 hours, 19 minutes. Now, we know that 1 minute, we know that 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. So 2 hours is equals to 60 minutes multiplied by 2. 60 is 2. 0 times 2 is 0. 6 times 2 is 12. So we get 120 minutes. Now we're still left with the 19 minutes that we have here. So we just need to add that together with this so we can get the answer. So 120 minutes plus 90 minutes. Let's do our working again. 120 plus 90, 0. This is 12. So 12 plus 9. Oh, sorry. So this is 2 plus 9. 2 plus 9 is 11. So that's 1. Carry 1. And we have 2. So 210 minutes. Oh, sorry. I think I saw it. Okay. This is 19 minutes, not 9. Sorry for the confusion. Okay. So here. 19 minutes. So let's do our working again. 0 plus 9 is 9. 2 plus 1 is 3. And 1 plus 0 is 1. So we have 139 minutes. So the answer for this question is option number 3, 139 minutes. Okay, which one of the following has 1/4 of the figure shaded? Now, number 1 is the numerator, and number 4 is the denominator. Okay, so the number 1 represents the number of shaded region or shapes. And number 4 will represent the total number of shapes. Okay? Now, for the first option, we have 5 squares, all of the same size as well, and they're all equal. So we can see that there is one shaded square. So our numerator is equals to 1, and there is a total of 5 squares. So our denominator is number 5. So this is the fraction of the shaded region for option 1. This answer is wrong because we need 1 over 4, not 1 over 5. Okay, moving on to the next shape. Let me draw this here so we can get equal shapes. There we go. So this looks like a pizza, right? So let's call it pizza slices. So we have 2 shaded pizzas slices. We have 2 shaded pizza slices here. So our numerator is 2. And what about our denominator? We just need to count the pizza slices. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pizza slices. Is this the final fraction? No, it's not. We have to make it into its simple form. So to do that, we just need to divide the fraction by 2. And we get 1 over 3. Unfortunately, this isn't the answer that we're looking for, because we're looking for 1/4 of the figure being shaded, but this is 1/3 of the figure being shaded. Okay? Now, if we move on, we see that this figure has many different shapes, and it has this shaded region over here. Now, if we see where this line is being cut, it's not symmetrical to the circle, so it doesn't really provide us with equal shapes. And in this case, we don't know unknown fraction. We're not sure of the fraction that we can produce here because the shapes are unequal. So even if I do this or this, we won't know how many shapes this actually provides us. So we can't really provide a fraction for this region. So this answer is wrong because the shapes are all of different sizes. Okay? Plus, the line doesn't also cut the circle symmetrically. You can see that this semicircle, sorry, let me just see, this semicircle is smaller than this larger one. So this figure is actually cut very differently compared to the others. Okay, so this is also wrong because the fraction is unknown. Now, for option 4, so we see that these are all the same shapes, and they also have equal sizes of squares. So the shaded region, there are 2 squares in the shaded region. So our numerator is 2, and our denominator is just the total number of squares. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 squares. Now this also isn't the simplest form. And to find the simplest form, you just need to divide this by 2 and the denominator by 2 as well. So we get 1 over 4. And this is our answer. So the answer to this question is option number 4. Now, question 6. What is 5 hundredths more than 4637? Now, in the question, when you see more than, it means that they want you to add something or add numbers. And in this case, we need to add 4,637 with 500. So 500. So 4,637 plus 500. 7 plus 0 is 7. 3 plus 0 is 3. 6 plus 5 is 11. Carry the 1. And we have 5137. So the answer to this question is option number 1. 5137. Okay, question 7. Which one of the following numbers can be divided exactly by 6 and by 9? Now, one thing to note about this is the word exactly. It means that there should be no remainders. Okay? When dividing by 6 or by 9. So, let's see option 1. 42 divided by 6 is equals to 7. So 42. So this gives us an exact number. So 42 can be divided by 6 exactly. But what about 9? Can 42 be divided by 9 exactly? Now, the nearest number that we can get to 42 is multiplying 9 by 4. And we get 36. Okay? So 12 minus 6 is 6. And this becomes 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0. So we have a remainder of 6. So unfortunately, 42 cannot be divided exactly by 9 because we have a remainder over here. So this option is wrong. What about 45? Let's see, 45 divided by 6. Now the nearest number that 6, the nearest multiple that 6 can get to 45 would be 6 times 7, 42. 5 minus 2 is 3, and that's 0. So we have a remainder of 3. So option 2 is also wrong, because 45 can't be divided by 6. Exactly, since we have a remainder of 3. So you move on to the next option. Option 3. Can 48 be divided by 6? Yes, it can. 8 times 6 is 48, and we get an exact number, so that's good. But what about 9? Can it be divided by 9? Let's see. The nearest number, or the nearest multiple that 9 can get to 48 would be 9 times 5, which is 45. And 8 minus 5 is 3, 4 minus 4 is 0, so there's a remainder of 3. So unfortunately, this option is wrong as well, because we have a remainder of 3. And now we're left with option 4. So since all our 3 answers here are eliminated, this would mean that option 4 is the correct answer. And just to make sure that we got it right, we can check if 54 can be divided by 6. And the answer is yes. 6 multiplied by 9 will give us 54. And the same goes for number 9. 54 divided by 9 would just be 6. So our answer is correct. Okay. Find the product of 234 and 5. So the main point here is that they ask for the product, and product means multiply. Okay? So we just need to find the product of 234 multiplied by 5. Okay, 4 times 5 is 20, so we put a 0 here and carry the 2. 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 plus 2 is 17. So we put 7 here and carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 plus 1 is 11. So our answer is 1,170. So option 1 is the answer for question 8. Okay. Johnny placed 7 squares of the same size together to form a rectangle as shown below. find the perimeter of the rectangle Johnny formed. Now, the question says that the squares are of the same sizes. So this means that all the sides of the squares are equal to 4 cm. So this is 4, this is 4, this is 4, this is 4. Same goes for all the other sides. Okay? Now another point that we need to take note of is the word perimeter. Now when they say perimeter, we want to find the length of the outer region of the rectangle. Okay? So that means we need to find this perimeter over here all the way. This is what we need to find. Okay? So the lines inside, they're excluded. We don't need this because they're not part of the perimeter. Okay, now let's find one side of these longer lengths. Okay, so since they say that there's 7 squares, so there are 7 sides over here. So to get the length of this side, we get 7 times 4, which gives us 28. And since this is a rectangle, the other side, the opposite, would also have the same length. So this side would also be 28 cm in total. And by applying the same concept, we see this is 4, so the opposite side would also be 4 cm. Okay, now to find the perimeter, we just need to add all the sides. So that's 28 cm plus 28 cm plus 4 cm plus 4 cm. So let's do our working. 28 plus 28. 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. So this is 56 cm. And 4 plus 4 is 8 cm. So 56 is 8 cm. Let's check. 6 plus 8 is 14. So we put 4 here. Carry the 1. And 5 plus 1 is 64. So our answer, 64 cm. And that is option 2.